Okay, welcome to this video lesson on how to approach tackling task 1 for contextualizing music. Starting off then, assuming that you're looking at your G drive, which you associate with college work, which will look like this with your folders in it. If you go up to this square up here, this square of 9 different squares, and click it, if you go down to this button that says More, and then look for Blogger, if we go to the Blogger interface, which is here, we're going to create a new blog, and we're going to give the blog title our name, which will obviously be your name, and then we're going to do contextualizing music, which is already there. Then the address is going to be Hitchin Tutor. In my case, obviously for you it will be your name, and then contextualizing music. It's checking availability. Now it says this blog address is available, so now I can go and create that blog. Okay, so it's here. We can go and look at the blog by clicking here. You can view the blog. Now, as you can see at the moment, it doesn't look very exciting. It's pretty blank, and there's obviously no posts, and there's just a black writing on a white background. If we want to start changing the look of it, changing the design, we go up to this button here which says Design, and we click there. And then we've got other different versions of it we can use. Okay. There's lots of different versions of blogs that we could do. So we can change, and you should change it to whatever you feel comfortable with. You won't get marked on the craziest looking blog. It'll all be about the content. So as you can see, we've got different options here. We can choose different backdrops or different colours, for whichever one we want to have. If we choose, for instance, if we choose this one, we'll go with that. We apply that to the blog. As you'll see up here, it says it's loading it, so it's applying that to our blog now. You can now see that it says template applied. So now if we go and view that blog, here it is. This is our blog. This is where it looks on the internet at the moment. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we again need to create 2 pages. So this is exactly the same as we did when we did instrumental studies and created our practice diaries online. We go up to this button again, the design, and we click it. Again, it takes us to this screen. This screen, you can see the way that the blog looks. This is what it will look like on a computer, and this is what it will look like on a phone. What we want to do is to go down and add some pages. So we go down to this choice here and click it. Now we want to add a new page. You see this button here that says new page. If we click that, we get this page. First thing we want to do is give this page a title. So this will be our first musical style or genre. So for instance, we might put the 60s, and we're going to publish that page. Okay, so now we've created one page and it's called the 60s. We now want to create another page. So this is another page, an additional page. So let's say we're going to contrast with the 70s. We now publish that page. We now have 2 pages, the 60s and a page on the 70s. Now at the moment, although we've created those 2 pages and they are published to the internet somewhere, we haven't assigned them to our blog. This is the critical part, okay? This is the part I think a lot of people struggled with when we first started doing our instrumental blogs. So what we need to do now is to go to Layout. Let's go down here, and we want to add a gadget. This button here that says Add a Gadget. What these are tools for us to embed within our blog, our websites. This one here says Pages. Display a list of standalone pages on your blog. This is the one we want. So we click there to add it. These are the pages that we could possibly show. This is our home page, then we've got a page on the 70s and a page on the 60s. Because we created the 60s first, it's done in sort of, reverse order. So we want the 60s first, and then we want the 70s. Now on our blog, we will see a link to a home page, a link to the first page, which we created on the 60s, and a link where we're going to create this third page, which is the 70s. If we like that configuration, we then save it, and now we can go and view it on the blog. Now you can see on our blog we have the home page, we now have a page on the 60s and a page on the 70s. If we go to those pages, you can see the pages here. We haven't created anything yet. Same for the 70s. Okay, welcome back to lesson 2 of our Contextualising Music blog lesson. So where we left it last time was that we created a blog and we had 2 separate pages for the 2 musical styles that we were going to be studying. Obviously these don't have to be your musical styles, that's down to you to choose. If we go and look at the assignment brief, which is here, which will be sent to you, you can see that we need to get the tasks 1 covered. You're basically going to be creating a blog that's going to be contrasting 2 separate musical styles. We're going to be looking at your personal response to the music, as it says here, the external influences of the music, audience expectations, and musical legacy. All of the things that we've covered during this year. Remember, when we're talking about music, we need to talk about those indicators that we keep talking about. Cultural and historical influences, audience expectations and perceptions, technological and production developments, and media representation. And over the last few weeks and before Christmas, we looked at the different musical styles and times and periods, and we looked at all of these 4 indicators. Remember, if you're talking about music and you're giving musical examples, you should talk about the instrumentation, the structure, the rhythm, the melody, the lyrical content, the use of technology, and the production techniques used to create the music that you're going to be discussing. Okay, so we'll have created the blog and it will look like this. What we now need to do is to go into each of the pages and start adding our information. Now this is where we can start typing the information on our musical styles or genres or periods. Once we put some information in here, we need to update that page by clicking this button here, and then we can go and view it on the blog. This now has some information. Okay, so again, if we go and edit this page, we can click the icon, which takes us back to the editing page. Now, if we want to add some pictures to our blog, if we go up to this icon here, it says Insert Image. If we click that, it gives us some options. We can do it from this blog, if there's other pictures in there, from your Picasa web album, which is a Google associated picture sort of storing site. You could do it from your phone, you can do it from your webcam, or from a URL. Now you can choose the files. What I suggest you do is to drag the files to your desktop, which is what I've done here. I'm going to use this image. I'm choosing it. The image will now appear here. Now I can select it by clicking it and then add the selected picture. Now it's put that picture into the piece of work that I was typing. Now again, I go up to here, I update that page. I can go and view the blog, view that page, and there will be the picture that I've inserted.